It was actually,
All right, I call this meeting to order on Wednesday, January 3rd at 6 p.m. Will you go ahead and do a roll call for us, Sasha?
Wendy Brindle,
Here.
Todd Lane,
present.
Sandy Kalich,
Here.
Shannon Lane,
Here.
Lori Rafferty,
Here.
Julie Mazet,
Here.
Mayor.
I got her. I'm here.
Trevor Smith is a no. Terry is not here yet. Kim Boyd, Ruth Bourne, and myself.
All right. Do we have any public comments for this evening?
Nope.
All right, and then consent items, approval of the agenda as it stands right now. Are there any additions that need to be made to that first?
Nope.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the agenda as it stands for this evening, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from December 20th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from December 20th, 2023?
I move we approve these minutes.
All right, I have a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I second.
Ooh.
I have a motion to approve in a second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right. Now we are gonna go on to, it looks like we have no new business, so old business, review revisions on zoning code amendments.
So happy New Year, everyone. And tonight, I promise it's gonna be the shortest meeting we've had, so, yeah. So in your packet tonight, you'll have the mobile food vending provisions that are adopted from the town of Elizabeth that will be put in our code as we discussed at the last meeting. And also provisions of this sign code from town of Elizabeth that addresses some of the concerns we've had, for example, posting signs on right away and improper signage. So I'm happy to go through those, but we've essentially adopted those from the town of Elizabeth. The other thing I did was went through the other 7 sections we've done up till now and corrected those. And so after these items, we have now completed the zoning code that can move forward to the Board of Trustees and the publishing company. And then the last section is subdivision. And if everybody can catch up to that, the biggest problem we had in our code is that the subdivision requirements were limited to certain zone districts, and we've revised those, and otherwise, based upon the input of our engineers and actually Kiowa Creek Meadows engineers, we are in a good position with our subdivision. We just needed to revise these provisions. You can see those probably, they're stricken out in red. And what Kim and I discussed today is probably forwarding this to the publishing company and then putting it all together for the Board of Trustees to move forward with adoption, unless anyone has any comments or concerns. And I apologize, I have a really bad cold, so. Kim said it sounded like I had my finger up my nose today. Thanks, Kim.
Show anything.
The subdivision
struck out
stuff
in
is
red.
in that.
There's nothing struck out in red is what she.
Yeah,
Oh, it didn't come out in red? I can tell you where it is.
no, we didn't have any in red.
So under 17.12, I think it's the first or second page. I can count the pages. Where it says general requirements.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
you go past the definitions
Page 2.
and then you go to general requirements. And in fact, these, it is noteworthy to talk about actually, because what you'll see, is everybody with me?
Yes.
You're on impact fees?
Okay, so where it says all uses within blank zone districts, one thing that occurred, and number two, that occurred with Kiowa Creek Meadows is that they relied upon this to circumvent our zoning, our subdivision regulations. Because he said, like, for example, on number two, PUD, with the exception of those relating to single-family detached development. So they tried to argue that they weren't required to comply with all of our subdivision regulations because it was primarily a single-family residential development. Of course, we know they wanted some multifamily and some commercial in there. And then the other limitations of the other zone districts, they tried to argue with us. And I guess the mayor and some other people that are on the board of trustees were well acquainted with this, that they said, oh, we don't have to play ball with you because your subdivision requirements don't require that. So by making this simple revision to our code, it means anybody who comes in with a land development proposal, they have to comply unless there's very minor exceptions where they wouldn't have to require compliance, which are simple, right? Like, oh, you have to have show us water, sewer, and that you own the land and that you have adequate access.
Okay.
Sounds good. What next? Tell us where to go. Well, really not
I really don't have anything else. One of the things that we're gonna bring forward to the Board of Trustees is our enforcement and having municipal court and enforcement as stop work orders that we currently don't have in our code. And we'll certainly keep you apprised of those, but those are generally delegated to the Board of Trustees to approve. And essentially, we are complete with our first round of drafts for amending the zoning code.
Okay.
So what I think we'll do is, once we get municipal code publishing with their drafts, we will bring that back to you, or I'm not sure exactly how we'll do that, but there'll continue to be an interface between you and the Board of Trustees.
All right. So
Okay, you
any,
guys are never speechless.
any questions for Ruth? You guys all good?
Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so as such, there's no motions that we need to move forward with in regards to, because we're just finalizing it, or do we need to make a motion to forward this on to the board for their review?
Well, you can certainly do that. And
Yes, Rick.
also, if you have any concerns or anything you want the Board of Trustees to focus on, and the mayor's waving his hands. I can see you, Rick.
How we doing with putting all this stuff together with Municicode?
Well, that's what we're talking about. So we've been in contact with them and we're just trying to get a time frame of how fast they'll put that together. So it'll work with regard to all of our code provisions. So hopefully by Tuesday, we'll have an answer for you on that.
Okay,
All right, so do I have a motion to move all of this forward to the town board for their review and moving it forward?
I make a motion to approve that we move on.
All right, so I have a motion made in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay. I said nay.
You didn't mean that, did you?
We need to do that over
Yeah.
again.
No, no, we all.
Yeah, there
you go. You wanna continue doing this twice a month?
Well, we have our 2 meetings for February, so let's just keep those scheduled and then we'll see, wait. We're
One for
only on the
January.
first
We
meeting.
have-
of
Do we need to
February.
have the meeting in 2 weeks?
Not right now.
Okay,
We can
Okay.
cancel the 17th.
What we may need is meetings in February.
Okay.
okay,
All right.
so we'll stick with that first meeting in February for now.
February 7th.
Okay,
Well, we have, so Ruth, how do we handle this? Because the next meeting would be our regular monthly meeting.
yeah,
So.
Which is
It's-
what, February what?
No.
no, January,
January
17th.
17th. So it's what the public knows is our monthly planning meeting.
We can come in and
Yeah,
have
we
a
should have
5-minute
that.
meeting.
Sure.
Well, we can see if anything occurs with the Board of Trustees on Tuesday with respect to that stop work order too.
okay,
Okay.
so leave the meeting on for now and it might just be a really short one.
Yep,
Perfect.
Okay,
that
Or
works.
we can always cancel it on the 16th.
Okay.
For no agendas, but Monday, I don't think anyone's working.
Right.
No. no,
Martin Luther.
correct,
It's a holiday.
okay. So we'll keep it for now on the 17th and then we'll see what it looks like. Yeah,
Subject to change.
yes, subject to change.
That works.
Okay, so I will keep it for now, subject to change,
I just need to make sure what we need to do, if we have to cancel it or
right?
how we go about doing it. If that's the regular monthly.
Right, this is the special one, yeah. Okay,
All right. Do we have any correspondence information or review or anything else? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:12?
Wow.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at 6:12, say aye.
Aye.
All right. That was a good one. Thanks, Ruth.